Good Monday morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Dirt Grain Steel. So in the shop this morning, it's too cold out again to do anything outside, so we're going to work on the tractor projects. Dad Strength's been working on the tune-up on the MC. Now he's working on some sheet metal work on the 720. And Dad and I are going to work on the power steering pump that we're going to reseal for the 720 because it looked like it was maybe leaking a little bit, so we're going to go ahead and reseal it. So first thing we got to do, so we got the pump clamped in the vise. We got all the lines off of it. So first thing we got to do is we got to get this piece off of here that locks the fan on. So this is just like a valve keeper or valve retainer in a motor. So what we have to do is we have to knock the fan hub down, and then we got to take the two keepers out and this piece under them, and then the fan should slide off the shaft. So Dad's already tapped it down just to make sure that it was going to go. So now we can go ahead. Well, you're going to have to tap it down a little farther. We're going to have to press it down now because now it won't stay. So we'll take it over to the press and get something set up and press it down. Well, since it was bouncy, we decided to just take a pair of channel locks and just squeeze it while I tapped it down with the hammer and socket. We just used a 13/32 12-point socket to tap on it with a hammer. So now we're just going to take our keepers out, pull this off, and now
we need your penetrating one.
Yeah, we need some creepola. What'd I do with it? Oh, there it is. Get the creepola and spray on there, and that'll work its way down in there. Socket. Hammer. There it is. Well, the splines are a little bit rusty on the end. So anyways, you get the idea. We'll get it worked off of there and we'll move on to the rest of it. Okay, there, that's off. There's
supposed to be a fiber in there.
There's supposed to be a fiber in there, and it's not in there. It looks like it's been running.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a little rough. We might have to get that.
Piece toasty.
Oh man. No wonder that. Oh.
Right.
You take that. I can't do it.
There's supposed to be another fiber in there.
Oh man. A little bit toasted. Well, just goes to show that tear everything apart when you're doing a restoration. Hate to get a tractor completely painted and then have to go back through all this. So we'll get this pulley off and we'll start tearing the pump apart. Yep, that seal is pretty bad. Them bearings look a little rough too. Might almost need a whole nother pump. We'll have to take it apart and see what we got in there. Okay, so I'm going to start tearing this power steering pump apart. Can't really find any information on it in the book other than it is a positive displacement pump that creates about 1,170 to 1,210 psi of pressure for the steering system. But there's no theory of tearing it apart and rebuilding. So I think we're kind of on our own with this. We'll figure it out. So I did take it outside and pressure wash it. Somebody needs to sponsor us a really nice parts washer for inside, so I don't have to go out in the cold anymore. Dad's tearing the pulley wheel apart. Trying to anyway. Things are a little bit rusted up in it. So there's our other bolts. So now we got the bolts out. Let's see how this comes apart. Yeah. Should split somehow. Just not sure how yet. Looks like it has a dowel pin there. So whatever we do, we got a dowel pin there and we got the shaft through here. So we definitely need to get them picked straight up. Let me get a chisel and drive between the halves and see if they'll come apart. You get a better hammer. Okay, now it's starting to come apart. It didn't take too much. There, we'll start to get it opened up. There we go. Oh, wait a minute. I see a snap ring. Whoops. There's a snap ring in there. How'd I miss that?
I don't know, for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's one of them really tough ones. Well, let me get some different tools. Okay, so after looking at the book, this snap ring really don't have to come out at this time. So I'm just going to leave it in there. We're going to try to pop this up. Going to try to get this cover off. There we go. There's that piece. Not sure what was supposed to seal that, but there's nothing in there. I'll have to look in the book. Okay, now we got one more section we got to get off. So we'll have to replace the seal and the bearing here. Let's get this off. very tight fit. Okay. Oops. Didn't want to do that yet. There's little keyways in here to hold all this together. Get that keyway back in there. I don't want to quite take that apart yet. Well, I'm gonna have to get that put back together. But I'm gonna go look in the book real quick and see what else we got to tear apart. Okay, so now we're gonna take our pump gears out. We're just gonna pick them up. There are little keyways on them. Make sure you grab the little keyway. I'm gonna drop them in here. We'll leave the keyway off to the side. Pull this one out. Put it in like so. Take its keyway. Put it over here. Now, this shaft should, well, this one comes out. Put that one away, we found it. Now, this shaft should go one way or the other. We're just going to take it out that way. Whoops. So the shaft is out. So we need to make sure we put the shaft, yeah. Been in there for a while. Ooh. I don't know if that'll hold the seal. It's got some pitting right there. I'll have to do a little investigation on that. So, now all we gotta do is get our bearings out and our seals out. Looks like that's just a bushing in that end. And there's a seal there that we need to replace. And there's a bearing there. So need need some seals and some bearings. So after careful review and careful consideration, we've decided that we're just going to go to New Parish Tractor Parts and find us a complete power steering pump, all the fan pieces, because these are obviously chewed up. These are not in the best of shape, and you can tell the fan's all wallered out. So we are just going to go up there and get a good takeoff off of another tractor and just be done with it. Because where'd my shaft go? Where's my pump shaft? Well, it's laying here somewhere. Did Dad's strength take off with it? What? I can't find my pump shaft. Oh, here it is, right in front of me. What the hell is my problem today? But those pits are really deep in this shaft, and sure enough, that sits right where the seal runs. So I'm just afraid that if we were even to try to JB weld them and sand it off or do something like that, it's just not going to last. So I'd rather just go get a new pump or another good pump and just put it back together with all good parts and be done with it. So I think we're going to go on another road trip today. What? Okay, so we are going to go on a field trip to New Paris Tractor Parts again. Are you excited?
Yeah, we're gonna buy a bunch of goodies.
We're going to go buy a bunch of goodies. So before we go on our maiden voyage, while we wait on the truck to warm up that we should have started 2 hours ago, we're going to talk about what Dad's got going on over here. So he's got the clutch dogs all cleaned up. He's got the clutch toggles all cleaned up. And the clutch toggle bolts all cleaned up. So that's pretty much ready to go back together. Just wire wheeled them really good. These were actually pretty much stuck inside of these when he started. So this will definitely ensure that the clutch works a lot freer than it did. So something real interesting is the whole tractor drives by that single pin right there. That's what actually drives the whole tractor. So kind of interesting. So anyways, we're going to put some fuel in the truck and we're going to head out and see what we can come up with for power steering pump and fan. So like I said, you know, if I could rebuild it, I would, but there's just too much gone of it to salvage really anything. So all this would have to be new. This would have to be new. So it's just, and this pulley was a little bent or something because it would actually hit the pump in a certain spot. And I don't like the way that looks. So we're just going to replace it. Just be done with it and replace it. So I'm going to go put fuel in the truck and we're going to take off. So you want to see what I like about New Paris Tractor Parts? That is a brand new John Deere B crankshaft in the original box. That's pretty cool. So we got what we came for. Fan, power steering pump, everything. Now we're going to go home. Well, we did make it home from New Paris Tractor Parts. We stopped at Green Mark Equipment here in town and got some new seals for that power steering pump. But we're supposed to get a good snowstorm tonight. So I'm going to head home because we're supposed to be getting an inch an hour. I'm going to head home and get my 1025R out and remove what snow I have in the driveway so I can kind of get a jump on it because I've got this much accumulation right now, which is about probably 3 inches. So I want to get that cleaned up and see what we get tonight. So it's supposed to get pretty nasty out. Better shut that door a little better. Got my truck plugged in. I'm going to let it stay plugged in for a few more minutes. So this is the pump that we picked up. Everything's tight. Except before we put it together, I want to throw new seals in it. And also ordered these new fiber discs that go between here and here. Just might as well do it while we're in there and just be done with it. It's not that big a deal to do. So we figure we just do it. But we actually don't think that this pump leaks right now. Just had a little oil collection in there from the fan shaft tube, which at some point I'm sure some gets in there from the governor and whatnot. Wilson, don't walk all over the books. I need to close these. If not, there'll be cat prints on them by morning. So get them closed up. So MC, Dad's strength, had to go home because he was feeling pretty under the weather. Not feeling the best. He's had a real bad sinus headache for last couple days, and he worked on it for quite a while today, and he just couldn't go no more. So I told him, well, go ahead and go home, rest for a while, and we all know what it's like to work with a headache. It's terrible. So didn't get to do much today, but Wednesday all of our parts will be in for the 720. So we will be able to do a lot of reassembly, and hopefully by the end of the week we may have a running tractor again as long as we don't find any other issues. So the only thing I got left to clean up yet is this side cover. Get it all cleaned up, and once we get it back on the tractor, we're going to primer everything like it was from factory on the outside of that cover, because all them gears will be covered up by that cover. So we'll primer all that. I'm going to clean the flywheel up. I'm going to primer it like it was from factory. And everything will look brand new under the flywheel cover when you pull the flywheel cover off. Got all the parts ordered for the brakes. We got the riveting tool ordered. So once that all gets here, we'll be able to throw the brakes back together. We'll do an in-depth video on brakes. Had a viewer that asked me if we'd do an in-depth video on the clutch. We will do that. Dad said let him get everything apart, get everything cleaned up, and then upon reassembly, we will do a video on reassembling the clutch, show you how it all works, how it goes together. We'll talk about specs. We'll go through the whole thing. I know the gentleman that asked, he had a 50, but it should be sort of the same concept as the 720. So we will go over that. So if you're watching, stay tuned for that video. And what else we got coming up is the hydraulic pump for the MC. Once we get it running right, we're going to tear into it. Right now is about the best time to do it. I just got to pull the radiator off because behind this cover right here, this is where the hydraulic pump bolts on. So hopefully the drive coupler is already there. If not, we've got a drive coupler to put on it. Dad's Strength is actually starting to replace the fan hub, but stopped when he realized that the radiator has to come off. It looks like it actually swings forward. Might just be able to lay it forward. We'll see what happens. But anyways, if you like this episode of Dirt Grain Steel, give me a like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. And we will see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.